The fear that banks have for XRP and Ripple is real. Holy smokest. Additionally, a segment of the cryptocurrency market that had been largely dormant for a few years has now awoken. Will we enter the banana zone as a result of the trigger? We'll see. Hi there, lovely individuals. We will discuss XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, the cryptocurrency market, and anything new and exciting. However, this is your weekly reminder that cryptocurrency investing is dangerous, as we do every Monday morning. A rug pull, bankruptcy, wallet hack, smart contract hack, or just a schlit currency dropping to zero can all cost you all of your money. Never make larger investments than you can bear to lose. Very, very significant. Now, having said that, I only ask that you smile at me in order to radiate positive energy. Since likes are free, Smishity slams the like button. We have a great promotion on Monday, double free. Say something like, "I'm sorry, that was a bad part," and destroy it. I need to put in some effort. I'll return it to the workshop and return with an improved version, correct? I must begin to write down some of these jokes, don't I? To enable me to work on them. Aiming for 5,000 likes on this video is our goal. Let's get started. I'm confident you guys can succeed. Right now, XRP is up 3% for the day at 3.5. Unintentionally, I posted a video from a few months ago. I'm not sure what happened, but occasionally the folder would jump, and I clicked on the incorrect movie without realizing it. When I uploaded, people were freaking out and asking, "Oh my God, Adi, what's going on?" because the kids were driving me nuts. You claim that the price of XRP is at 1.80 cents. What's happening? Naturally, I realized right away that something was off. You know, the video was viewed by 700 people. I apologize to everyone who had to see that and had a brief moment of heartbreak. Although there were significant technical issues at the time, XRP is now trading at 3. However, we're moving closer to the all-time high of XRP if we zoom out a bit. Once more, that 380-something isn't a true price. The pricing here is at an all-time high. What do you know? The resistance line has not been placed by me. There we have it. Since we are aware that this is XRP's highest point ever, we can use that information as a gauge for what might be happening and as a possible location of resistance for XRP. If we look at Bitcoin, it keeps consolidating. Isn't that right? Like in this zone at a light teen, 117, a 116, and 120. It's interesting to note that it did recover from this lower trend line. After breaking out, it returned. Strange, in a way, is currently Bitcoin. It feels quite constrained and manipulated. That's how it feels at the moment. What we are witnessing is quite fascinating. We'll see how this develops once more in the coming day or two. The Fed is scheduled to speak tomorrow, so perhaps that explains why Bitcoin is a little shaken. However, other assets are beginning to move, so this will be fascinating. We still have some influential people. There are a lot of greens here, but there are also some small reds, so the market isn't quite in the banana zone yet. There are still worries, and once more, I will never advise you to buy, sell, or hold because I have no idea what the market will do on a daily basis. Actually, I'm being really dynamic right now as I try to determine whether or not we'll have a downturn. There are always going to be gaps in the future market for Bitcoin, you know. We'll check to see if a gap opens up today. Thus, I don't. As you can see, there isn't a gap this week, but there is the everyday gap, not the weekend gap that we saw from Thursday to Friday. Naturally, there is a 92,000 disparity. Thus, those are the things that continue to worry me. Not financial advice, of course. Always conduct your own research before making an investment. As previously said, I am unsure of the precise course of events. I have been an investor in the cryptocurrency market for a long time, but we don't know what the Fed will do on a daily basis. We have no idea what Trump will say, like it's really difficult. Additionally, you may see that everything is green. You mean that everything is up. Pango is up 25. For example, you get quite bullish and then abruptly notice a decline. Okay, or you notice that something is going on here. I'm not sure. It ran up, you know, but it can pull back just as easily. You must therefore exercise extreme caution. All right. Additionally, keep in mind that I will never message you on social media to ask you to send me money or join up for anything. Once more, those are con artists. Out there, please exercise extreme caution. People constantly sending me scam emails and the like, and I never click on any of the links. Be extremely cautious when you're out there. Paul Barron just tweeted that RLUSD is already in compliance with the Genius Act, one-to-one reserve requirements, and monthly audits, which is a game changer. The bridge currency for the ecosystem of regulated digital payments is XRP. As institutional usage surges, deflationary pressure is created by the fact that every RLUSD transaction on XRPL burns XRP. Payments in the future will be powered by XRP and not only digital. Thus, the Genius Act's passage is also contributing to the buzz, which is attracting a lot of institutional investors and businesses that are presumably thinking, oh, perhaps we should include XRP on our balance sheet. Businesses have already done that. However, it's not as broad as 100 corporations, roughly 5 corporations made the announcement, but it might be more widespread. Thus, it will be intriguing to observe how it unfolds once more in the upcoming weeks. Where do we think XRP has the capacity to go? All right. Long-term, I speak on a daily basis. We're not sure why the banks are afraid right now. The Coin Bureau retaliates, but I believe they are afraid. U.S. banks retaliate against crypto charters, and they're shaking in their boots. Calling it a fundamental break from policy, the American Banker Associations and other organizations call on the OCC to stop Circle and Ripple's bank licenses. In the digital age, the competition to become a bank is intensifying. They are obviously afraid of losing their power. They fear losing their authority, don't they? The banks have no business if people no longer need them, right? These businesses are multifunctional businesses that offer banking and cryptocurrency services. We were discussing Schwab the other day when one of their customers stated, hey, I don't want to go to multiple platforms, want my bank account, savings, and cryptocurrency all on one site. Additionally, I don't have to move money from one thing to another. In actuality, Robinhood is performing admirably. And that's the reason their stock is soaring. However, this is, in my opinion, the direction that finance will take in the future. These businesses will be more expansive than those that are only, one-to-one. Additionally, the banks are afraid since they only do one thing. They provide loans and are a bank. Isn't that pretty much it? They make commerce possible, don't they? There are many credit cards that are not bank credit cards. However, occasionally there are credit cards. They make commerce possible, don't they? There are many credit cards that are not bank credit cards. However, occasionally there are credit cards. I take it that they're trembling in their boots. Due to MasterCard and Visa, there are occasionally credit cards that are linked to debit cards or banks. The situation in the United States differs from that in other countries. However, it will be fascinating to observe how all of this develops. And at the moment, they are unquestionably shivering in their boots. Seeing how all of this develops is going to be quite fascinating. Now, the London Stock Exchange is thinking about 24-hour trading, which is another thing that would obviously be very, very good for XRP. Recently, the CBOE, NASDAQ, and New York Stock Exchange submitted applications to the SEC to expand their trading hours. This might entail tokenization and turning digital, correct? Trading around the clock eliminates the need for middlemen. They all understand that DeFi is now obviously driving the evolution of trade fights, don't they? And to reiterate, this is another market that Ripple and XRP are prepared to enter because, as we know, they purchased Hidden Road, which is a definite sign that that is where they want to go. They want to make stablecoins easier, but they also want to make trading easier and capitalize on the tokenization of stocks and assets.